he has a quality of perceptiveness, perceptivity, I don't know how, sensitivity to female world, that is quite amazing. Okay, so the second pad is one of those imbued with viraha, love in separation. Nisidin, and that has also been interpreted by many singers. I mean, should be easy to find bhajan sung by on this pattern. Nisidin Barkhat. So this sha actually is most of the time it stands for k sound. It's a kind of orthographic convention of that time. So it would read Barkhat Nin Hamare Sadaranti Barkhari tu Hampar Jabte Syama Sidhare. So night and day, Nisi Din Barkhat. My eyes are raining, literally. Oh, it's rainy season in my eyes. Now the eyes of the gopis behave like a separate person. That happens very often in the Sursagar. So whatever they do, because they go through the movements of everyday life, but the eyes, they stay in some other level of reality. Sadaranti Varkarituham, so it has been a constant rainy season since Japse Syama Sidhare. The dark one went away, yes. Drig Anjan Narahat Nisi Basar, so the black on our eyes doesn't stay, yes. Runs day and night. Kar Kapor Bhaikare, so Kare is Kala. And our hands and our cheeks are all black. Nice picture. Kanchuki Pat Sukhat Nahi Kabahu. So the clothes of the Kanchuki never gets dry. Urbich, Bahat Panare, and a stream goes between our breasts in the cleavage. Ansu Salil Sabeba Ikaya, Pal Najata Risitare. Our bodies are covered, awash with tears. Pal Najat Risitare, and still not for a moment does the pain go away. Surdas Prabhu, Yahe Parekpo, Gokul Kahe Visar. Think about that. Why did you, Lord, leave Gokul? Okay, so
Brahmargitse?
Brahmargitse Aira. It's not quite yet Brahmargit, but so that was one example again of how the feeling is infused. So it's the feeling is the name of the game here, right? It's not just poetry for the aesthetic pleasure of it. It is supposed to bring the audience into a feeling, and thus to the path to salvation. It has a soteriological purpose. It has to go somewhere. But of course, it is done with a lot of talent, as I'm sure you appreciated with this part about the eyes.
Is it also Gopis and Radha's version when Krishna left Gokul? Is it the Gopis version too, that why did you depart Gokul?
Yeah.
And they were all crying as well.
Yes.
Just Surdas as well.
Well, the thing is, there are a lot of variants in the mythology. So, Sursagar is supposed to be a retelling of the Bhagavata Purana, but in fact it's not. It's not a retelling, and there are many variants that are not encoded in the Bhagavata Purana and saying things about who did what and how. So it is about that moment. The Bhagavata Purana is the first Sanskrit version of the Krishna myth, which gives some importance to that whole period that he spent in the Braj area and to the gopis. But they are not very much identifiable. Radha is not present in the Bhagavata Purana at all. She appears later. You know? So that's it. Yes. So yeah, they cried. Radha cried. Radha is a kind of embodiment of the collectivity of gopis somehow. She appeared somehow like that in time. She wasn't there during the time of the creation of the Bhagavad Purana. Now she's very popular. You see Radhe, 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 Radhe everywhere. And Radhe, Radhe is the Namaste in the Braj area. You don't say Namaste.
He's represented more with Radha right now in today's time.
Yeah.
In Kali Yuga, it's Radhe, Radhe, Radha.
Yes, yes.
They want to say Radhe more, but that time her mention is not in the Bhagavad Purana.
Yeah.
That itself is enough.
Yeah. Okay, let's move to the Brahma Gita. So the Brahma Gita is that part of the story. So Krishna and his brother Balbir live forever after an episode known as the Ras Leela, where they all dance. It's a kind of erotic, mystical erotic dance that lasted for 6 months during the autumn full moon, where every gopi had her own Krishna to dance with because he multiplied himself, and this is the ecstasy, the moment of fusion, the moment of unity, the plenitude of the mystical experience. And then it ended. And then Krishna left Braj forever with his brother and never to return. So the gopis went mad with Vira. And at certain point he does other things. He goes on, he fights the Mahabharata. So at certain point he sends one of his close friends, Uddhav, to see on how the gopis are doing. So Uddhava goes there and he started teaching them that you shouldn't be so attached to the human form of Krishna because he is not that. He is the Brahman, he is the absolute. You should meditate on him. You shouldn't love him, you should meditate on him. And that sort of philosophical lesson known as the Advaita Vada. The gopis who are out of their minds, they confuse him with a Brahman, with a black bee. Because apparently he was dressed in yellow and black or something. And so they talk to the Brahman, and that's why this episode, this dialogue of Uddhav and the gopis, it has become paradigmatic also when feelings, sense and sensibility, feelings against rational thought. So they see him in a blur and they respond to those teachings. What he is teaching is the Jnana Marga. You should know better. He's not, your lover. He's the absolute. And you should not, be stuck in that illusion of an appearance. Look to the metaphysical reality. And this is what they reply to him. Nirgur kondesko basi, madhukar kahi samjai so de, bujeti sanch nahasi. So, Uddhav is telling them that he's not Sagun, he's Nirgur, he's the one without qualities. He has no physical appearance, no appearance whatsoever in his true self. But they say, this Nirgun you are talking about, where does he live? In which country does he live? Madhukar is because they think he's a bee, right? So, bee, tell us seriously, explain and tell us bee on oath. Bujati Sanch Nahasi, we are really asking, we want to know, we are not joking. So, who is this Nirgun? That's what they say. Ko hai jana, kon hai janani, kon nari, kon dasi. So, tell us more. So, it is, again, it's a little bit convergent in meaning with Yashoda's situation. They can't think in those terms, Nirgun, Advaita, and things like that. Philosophical knowledge is not their forte, right? So they try to imagine, so where does he live? Who is his father? Who is his mother? yes, who is his servant? Keso baran bhes hai keso kihiras me abhilashi. What does he like? What kind of dress does he wear? What kind of colors? Pavego punikio apno, jore karego vas. If you are making fun of us, you will get the results, you will reap the rewards of what you say. So, again, you can imagine the emotion very easily. Now, there is a longer poem called the Brahmar Gita by Nanda Das, which is entirely devoted to this particular episode. And there are other Brahmar Gits as well. So Brahmar Gita is a genre in itself. But Surdas treats it here like he treats everything else, like snapshots of it. And what we see here at play is related also to what we saw with Yashoda. It is the, through emotion, the establishing the supremacy of bhakti, the supremacy of love. Because how does this? But and sunat mon khveragyu Barbaro. Listening to this, the crazy one, Barbaro, remained silent. He was silenced by the emotion that he saw. He realized that all his knowledge and sophistication are worth nothing in front of the total
This is the best part.
the total commitment, engagement, what kind of word, dedication, that these simple women, because they are very simple women, actually they're not so simple, they're quite sophisticated when in Nanda Das's version when they argue with Uddhava, but they are supposed to be simple. Completely kind of win over the sophisticated philosopher. Sursa Bematinasi, all his wits are completely destroyed. So he comes back. That's also interesting, the evolution of that story, because it exists in the Bhagavad Puran, it is there, but there the gopis are somewhat consoled by him. They say he doesn't leave the battle as having lost it. It's the opposite. The copy says, okay, we'll do our best to try to meditate and not to miss him so much. But the more times go by and the more vernacular versions are being recreated, the more Uddhava is completely defeated in that battle.
Is this verse also sort of questioning the family system or the gender or the caste in this thing? Like, okay, who's your father? Who's your mother? Which caste are you from?
No, I don't think we should. Be
because in the spiritual world, these don't exist. There's nothing like that.
These don't exist, and and Kabir has said a bit about this also, but you can't expect it here.
Okay.
It's not something, you cannot attribute that sort of meaning to Surdas, I think. What is important here is the emotion.
Okay.
All right, so we've had a few examples. I hope you enjoyed that. Of that, those emotional snapshots, right? And how emotion is worked throughout the poems. They are supposed to be generated through the emotion.